This week on Viewpoints.
There are all kinds of things that I have time to do now that were impossible when I was raising children and working full-time and paying off a mortgage and.
Author Helen Wilkes on making your retirement the most fulfilling time in your life. Then,
people think the juvenile system is piece of cake. What makes prison is you're isolated from people that you love.
Juveniles tried as adults and sent to adult prisons. I'm Marty Peterson.
And I'm Gary Price. These stories in depth this week on your public affairs magazine, Viewpoints.
What a day for tennis. You ready to play? Is everything all right?
This sinus pressure.
Allegra D knows that allergy congestion can get in the way of enjoying the moment.
Go ahead and practice without me.
Allegra D helps you break through congestion fast. Allegra D combines a non-drowsy antihistamine plus a powerful decongestant for 24 hours of congestion-free breathing.
Whoa, nice volley.
How about another set?
Only if you go easy on me.
Get Allegra D and get back to the moment. Starts working in 1 hour. Available at the pharmacy counter.
Technology Truths, brought to you by Geico.
Technology Truths.
Truth, you have 14 login passwords, and you can't remember any of them.
Doug 1, Doug 2, Doug is awesome. Doug is awesome 1, 2, 3.
Truth, it's so easy to switch and save on car insurance at geico.com.
Doug is super cool &_exclamation point, 1985. Knew it!
Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Retirement can be bittersweet. In many ways, it's something we plan for our whole professional lives. We look at 401k documents and sock away money into savings accounts. Maybe we dream of where we'll move or what we'll do. But the reality of retirement can be intimidating. Suddenly, not having a job to go to every day, or the loss of a close friend or life partner, can make retirement feel overwhelming. Some retirees may feel like they're too old to do much, or that retirement is the beginning of the end. Author Helen Wilkes says that doesn't have to be the case. She wrote her book, The Aging of Aquarius, to inspire her fellow retirees to aim higher, because she says retirement has been better to her than expected.
Life kept getting better and better for me. And I kept pinching myself to believe that this was true. It was so very different from what I expected. And then I started looking around me and realizing that people were actively doing all kinds of things, and their life was getting richer and better at a time when they expected to be doing nothing. And it was just so amazing to me that I started to, just even take notes for myself about all these amazing people. And it grew. Just kept on growing. I kept meeting more people and realizing that we have been sold a bill of goods that retirement is just sitting under a palm tree with a drink in our hand or cruising endlessly. There's so much that people still have to give and want to give. We feel so much more meaningful and so much better about ourselves when we're giving back to the world in some way.
Wilkes says with improving medicine and extended life expectancies, we're destined to see more and more retirees looking for new ways to enjoy their lives later on in life.
Most of us will spend a third of our life in retirement, and some of us even longer. It's going to be the new norm in no time, if not already, for people to spend as long in retirement as they did in their working life. 40 years. If you worked from the time you were 20 to the time you were 60, then you're going to be 60 to 100. People are saying octogenarians and super seniors, as they're called, are growing astronomically thanks to modern medicine and better health care. We know more about diet. We know about the importance of exercise. We know about the importance of socialization, which you mentioned earlier. All of these factors are entering into a new world for seniors and for people who are approaching retirement.
Wilkes says she felt inspired by her retirement to try new things. That's when she stumbled into an old box of letters and was struck by a new passion and a second career.
When I retired, partly I was taking care of my mother, who was having some health issues at that point. Partly also I was wondering who I am. and what was unfinished in my life. And in that context, I knew that my father had a box of letters that had come to him when I was a child, and I knew of them, and my mother had always kept them in a special box, and when she came to live with me, she brought the box. And one day, I decided to open the box, and it simply turned my life around because I didn't realize who I was in many ways. Those letters were from people in Europe who had been dying to come to America or to any country that would have them. But because they were Jews, nobody wanted them. And I suddenly realized that if I just put all these letters back in the box, it would be as if all these people who had sprung to life through their writing, I was killing them all over again. So I wound up writing a book, originally more just for me and for my family, but people encouraged me to reach a wider audience, and I was lucky. The university press published it. And all of this led me to realize that I liked the process of writing and of going within in ways that I had never had an opportunity to do when I was in the working world. And so writing has now become one of the things I love doing.
Wilkes says her experience of finding this new post-retirement craft for herself doesn't have to be the exception, it can be the rule.
Retirement can be the beginning of a whole new way of life for you. And I'm encouraging people to look forward to that way of life that's productive and active rather than just consuming more and more of the world's goods. You want music? Great. When was the last time you took a piano lesson? You did that as a child? So what could you do now? And if you can't manage a piano, maybe you could try something a little easier or some other way. But everybody has something.
Of course, some people may struggle to find that next great passion of theirs. Wilkes says that's no problem, and she has a few brainstorming questions to help others explore their interests in new ways.
Some of my questions: if you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do? If you knew you could start something fresh without anybody laughing at you or making fun of you, what would you do? What voices are you hearing from your past that say, who do you think you are? Or you're too old for this? Or what are the voices and the tapes that are playing in your head that are preventing you from living your life fully?
And with those questions in mind, Wilkes says it's time to take those passions in your own hands and set new aspirations.
I start with a piece of paper and a pen, not even a device, and I start writing things down. And I make long, long lists of things that are practical and things that are completely off the wall. And you never know where things are going to take you. I recently encountered a retired gentleman, and at 65, the year he retired, he decided for the first time in his life that he was going to sing in public. He had never done it. He is now been offered a contract as a student in a major academy of music where he's going to go and develop his voice. He's 65. He's never sung a note in his life. And yet, there's a whole new avenue opening up for him.
Sometimes retirement can be an isolating experience. Gone are our specialties, the jobs people feel give them meaning, and gone, too, can be the connections people make within their industries. Wilkes says she hopes people can see that as an opportunity instead of a curse, an opportunity to make new friends and learn new things.
There are all kinds of things that I have time to do now that were impossible when I was raising children and working full-time and paying off a mortgage and. Absolutely. When I say I have time now, even for the little things, like instead of rushing to get to work on time, I can walk up the street to buy a cup of coffee at the coffee shop and stop and notice that person who's walking their dog and say, oh, what a cute little animal. May I pet it? There are so many classes in every subject that you could possibly want to take that are out there. Learn a new language. Why not? study history if you've been a scientist. If you were something else, well, what about science? I'm fascinated by the sky, by the idea of planets, all the possibilities out there in the cosmos. I know almost nothing about that. I could start all over with that. There are endless ways of reaching out, meeting people. Sometimes just even on the street, I will say to somebody, "Oh, what a gorgeous hat that is," and get into a conversation. It's not an in-depth conversation, but it leads somewhere and you feel less isolated.
For more tips and tricks on how to make retirement something to cherish, Helen Wilkes' book, The Aging of Aquarius, is available online and in bookstores now. For more on all of our guests, visit our site, viewpointsonline.net. I'm Gary Price.
Juveniles being held in prisons made for adults when Viewpoints returns.
There's nothing like taking some time for a fresh cup of coffee or a creamy latte to slow down a hectic day. And now, if you're busy at home, you don't have to run out to a coffee house to get it. The new Keurig K-Latte single-serve coffee and latte maker allows coffee lovers to enjoy regular single-serve coffee or lattes in the comfort of their own home. Use any K-Cup pod to brew coffee or make delicious lattes. While most specialty coffee makers can be complicated, time-consuming, and messy, the Keurig K-Latte Coffee House Brewer is simple to use, allowing consumers to prepare coffee or lattes in minutes. Add a splash of delicious flavor with Torani for an authentic coffee house drink at home. Torani has been making gourmet-flavored syrups and sauces for beverages from high-quality ingredients like pure cane sugar and natural flavors since 1925. The Keurig K-Latte single-serve coffee and latte maker is available exclusively at Walmart and Walmart.com for only $99. Just brew, froth, and enjoy.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you can donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-835-1478. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to over 50 locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now. Call 1-800-835-1478. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher for donating. Call now, 1-800-835-1478. That's 1-800-835-1478.
And that's Viewpoints for this week. Viewpoints is a production of MediaTrax Communications. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook to learn about upcoming shows and find a library of past programs on iTunes. Plus, you'll always find podcasts of our segments and information about our guests at viewpointsonline.net. Join us again next week for your public affairs magazine, Viewpoints.